Hey everybody, welcome back to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com and here on my YouTube channel. And this time out, we're going to take a look at a new and very cool product from PreSonus. This is an all-in-one solution for podcasters, gamers, people that use Skype and Zoom for business calls, live streaming, and also the recording solo artist. It's an all-in-one solution. It is a USB microphone and it is called the Revelator. Okay, the Revelator's got really a ton of things that it can do. And I was really interested in this product and wanted to bring this to you today because, as you know, if you follow me here at Home Recording Made Easy, I do podcasting, I do weekly live streams, I do lots of YouTube tutorials, and I also create mixing and recording training tutorials at Home Recording Made Easy. So I am using all different sorts of workflows, and up until the Revelator, you had to have additional hardware and even some additional software to make all of that kind of routing happen. And this is all done in one nice tidy package. So I was really interested to show you this. Now, because the Revelator can do so much, here's the deal. So this video here, we're going to talk about the microphone features. We're going to walk through the included free software application for the Revelator, and I'm going to show you just the basics. Then in the links in the description box below, I'm going to have 2 to 3 other videos. I'm going to show you very specific uses and how to set it up. One for how to set up the Revelator for live streaming, one for how to set it up if you are going to do, say, a Zoom or a Skype call with business colleagues or friends or family, and then one on how I actually use it to record my video training tutorials on YouTube, and both for HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com. So those links will be in the description box below, so you can check out those videos so you can see a very precise, succinct video on how to set it up for your particular needs. As I said in this video, we're just going to talk about the different features of the Revelator. We're going to walk through the application that you can see on the screen here on my MacBook Pro. And then you can link the other videos in the description box below. Now, full disclosure before we get started, I am working in conjunction with Sweetwater to bring you this particular video. But like with all of my product demos and gear reviews, I am free to say whatever I want about these videos, about the product itself. And I wouldn't be bringing it to you if I really didn't think it was a cool product and something that my audience could be interested in. So that's full disclosure. Also, if you'd like to purchase the Revelator, I have a link in the description box below as well. Again, that is an affiliate link. So if you purchase it with that link, you're helping me here at Home Recording Made Easy, and I really do appreciate that. But you don't pay any more at Sweetwater than you would if you didn't use the affiliate link. But I would really appreciate it if you use the link in the description box below. So now let's check out all the different features of the Revelator. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Revelator. So just so you know, everything that you're hearing in this video, my voice is all going through the Revelator, being recorded directly into Studio One. You might be able to see the little application up here for the Revelator on the screen. We're going to take a up close and personal look at that application in a little bit, but I want to go over a few of the features that I really like about this microphone and why I think it may be a good all-in-one solution for someone like me, or even for someone like you who does a lot of different things in your recording studio. So I have a bunch of notes here, so I want to make sure I get it all. But if you want to read all the different things that this microphone can do, go out to PreSonus.com or also Sweetwater.com. Links will be in the description box below, and you can read about all the technical specs. But I want to give you the highlights of what I love about this microphone and I think some of the key features. So, who is this product for? Well, this product is really geared for or towards anyone that does podcasting, anyone that does live streaming, anyone that's a gamer and does live streaming on Twitch or YouTube or such to do your games. Business people that doing Zoom and Skype calls with colleagues. Today, with everybody working from home more than in the past, that has also become a really big thing that people are doing online meetings with people all over the world. This is a great product for that. Also for the actual singer-songwriter, recording musician, acoustic guitar, vocals, this is a great microphone for that to capture those performances in your home studio. And also for people like myself who actually record training tutorials for YouTube, for my online courses. Again, this is a great all-in-one solution. So that's really who this is geared for. Now this this microphone has so much power inside of it. It's really an audio interface, yes, but it's actually 3 separate audio interfaces all built into one that works along with the application to do all the different types of routing that you need to do depending on how you're going to be using the Revelator in your setup. And that's what makes it really cool. But there's a bunch of other additional features. Feature number one is it's a large diaphragm condenser microphone. So it sounds really good. You hear my voice now. The microphone is about maybe 6-8 inches away, probably even a little further away than it should be. And you get a great sound quality. Right out of the box, you could just plug it in and use it. You don't even need to use the application that we're going to look at afterwards. You could just take it out of the box, plug it in via USB-C, which is really cool. And you have a couple of presets built right into the microphone. I just picked one of the presets called Male Broadcast, and that's what you're hearing now. But you can also tweak that quality of your voice and shape it however you want, and we'll take a look at that later when we look at the actual application. It has 3 polar patterns. It has a cardioid, a figure 8, and an omni. So depending again on how you're going to use the microphone, it's great for just doing things like this, spoken word. It's great if you want to use figure 8 and interview someone live in person where you're sitting on one side of the microphone and someone else is sitting on the other side of the microphone. It works really great in all of those applications. It has a headphone jack right on the bottom of the microphone that you can wear earbuds or your headphones so you can monitor what you're hearing in your headphones right from the microphone. It's a great metal build construction, nice heavy weighted stand, nice metal casing on the microphone. It doesn't feel like a cheap, what you would consider a cheap USB mic. When you hear the word USB microphone, you automatically think, it's going to be cheap, kind of low quality. It's going to be cheap plastic. Not in this case. This is a well-built, heavy-duty, quality product from everything that I can see. Picking it up and feeling it, it has some weight to it. It doesn't feel cheap and plasticky. So that's really, really great. I'm really glad that they were able to build it in such a way where it feels more high quality. There's also an adapter for this that you can take it off the stand that sits on your desktop if you'd like and put it on a traditional microphone stand. Again, we'll take a look at that when we look at the actual application. It has some controls right on the front of the microphone where you actually can control with an encoder the headphone volume that you're hearing yourself. You can actually control the gain, the input gain of the microphone for when you're recording and setting your levels right from the microphone. You also have, as I said, 3 different presets already built in, so you can choose what preset you want without actually even having to open the application. You can also check the monitoring of the headphones. So you can do all this stuff right inside of it. It's got built-in DSP right inside of this microphone, which is really, really great. You can either, again, as I said, you can use it along with the application, which is what I recommend, because you're going to see how powerful this application can be. Also, if you want to do a bunch of different routings inside of your computer, depending on how you're going to use the Revelator, you want to use the application. And we're going to take a look at that in a little bit. But as I said, you could pull it right out of the box, which is what I did here. Plugged it directly into my MacBook Pro. I pulled up the application so you can see a little bit on the screen what it looks like. I did nothing to it except press the preset button, Male Broadcast. That's what it is. A little bit of EQ, a little bit of compression. I have no idea, honestly, until after I record this video, what it's going to sound like, but I'll bet you it's going to sound fantastic because the presets are really tailored to just work directly out of the box. It works on Mac, it works on PC as well. And also, I think, which is just amazing, I can't even believe they're able to do this. They've included Studio One Artist with the Revelator. Now that in and of itself is a $99 piece of software. This microphone comes in at $179 US, which to me is insane for all the different features that this thing does, and it comes with a recording DAW on top of that. Now you can use any recording DAW with it. You don't have to use Studio One, but if you use Studio One, it really integrates very, very well, and they give that to you for free. So that's just some of the features that the Revelator has inside of it. And as I said, at this price point, it's crazy what this thing can do. And you're going to see that when we take a look at the application, and you're also going to see that in the additional videos that I'm going to link in the description box below. When you see all the possibilities that you can do with this one microphone and the free application for $179, in my opinion, because the quality is of great quality, build quality, sound quality, and ease of use with the application and the flexible routings, This thing to me is probably worth 3 or 4 times what they're asking for it. In order to do what this thing can do in my studio today, record YouTube videos, do live streams, record a podcast, record online courses, I have to have 2 separate audio interfaces and additional software to make all that routing happen, and they packaged it in one USB microphone with a simple application. Crazy. So now that we've talked about some of the features of the Revelator and some of the possibilities, let's head on over to the computer and let me show you up close the application that comes along with it to show you what you can do if you want to jump in underneath the hood a little bit and work with the Revelator. Okay, everybody, welcome. So now we're back in the computer here. We're going to take a look at the Revelator application. So a couple of things before we get started, I want to let you know. First off is I took off the Revelator off the included stand and I put it on a boom arm that's attached to my desk, a broadcast boom arm with the little adapter, works really great. Got my headphones plugged directly into the bottom of the Revelator. Got my USB-C cable plugged directly into my computer. So that's all set. Now, a couple of things you want to keep in mind when you take this microphone, or any condenser microphone for that matter, or really any microphone, but more so a condenser mic, they're more sensitive, is if you're going to attach it to a boom arm that's to your desk, if you have a shock mount for it, that will help. So when you're tapping on the desk or tapping on your keyboards, it doesn't pick up as easily in the microphone. I had a cheap shock mount here laying around the studio. I used that. The other thing that I attached here is I just attached an inexpensive pop filter, because when you're going to be up and close and personal with a condenser microphone such as this, you can get some plosives. So I'm using a pop filter. Again, you don't need to use those things, but that'll also help with some of the trouble spots when you're having a condenser mic this close and you're working and trying to record. So just some things to keep in mind. So before we open up the Revelator here, first thing you want to do when you get your microphone is go to PreSonus.com. You want to register your microphone on the website, and you're going to download the latest version of Universal Control, which is right here on the screen. And you'll see down here we have device mode, we have multi, and we have single for the Revelator. We're going to keep it on multi for now. And again, I will show you different uses in separate videos that'll be in the description box below, as I said earlier. And when we plug it in with our USB-C, we're going to see the Revelator. If I click on that, here is our application. So I want to walk you through how this is laid out and some of the things that you can do with it. And again, for specific case uses, we'll use this a little differently in every single one of our different videos that'll be linked in the description box below. So top left-hand corner, we have our presets that came standard with the Revelator here. Again, I picked broadcast male, broadcast female. Should try to shut off my phone here. We have a screamer kind of a thing here. Echo. How about some echo? Pretty cool, right? Okay, so that's our presets. And again, we could go in and we could fine tune these and tweak these, and I'll show you that in a second. Beneath that here on the left-hand side, we have our mic input gain. Now, when you have something like a pop filter in front of the microphone, you may not have access to the actual encoder that will change the gain, but you can change it right from here by just turning it up or down. Usually you want to be around, set it so your voice is somewhere around that -9, no more than like a -6. You want to make sure you're not clipping. If you get a little too loud, you don't want to clip. Okay? Then we have our fader here to turn the microphone up or down to the main outputs, which is over here on the right-hand side, which we'll talk about in a second. And we can also use panning. We can mute there, okay, or you can mute from the front of the microphone. Next to that is we have our little mini mixer here, our software mixer. We have a playback, we have loopback 1, loopback 2, and our reverb, okay? We're going to talk about each one of these things separately in separate videos, but this is how you can bring different sound sources into the Revelator and you can blend them together. So for example, on loopback 1, I can have some audio coming, let's say from YouTube or from iTunes that I can play in, and I can blend that with, let's say, someone that I'm talking with as an interview for Skype for a podcast or something like that, and I can blend that, and then I can blend it with my own voice here. So you can have a nice blend between these 3 different sound sources to get the mix that you want. And again, we'll look at that a little bit later. We also have over here our reverb here. Now again, before we get to the reverb, just so you see on the right-hand side, this is the output section. Right now we have our headphones here. This is what I'm listening to, and here's the mix that I'm listening to. All I'm listening to is just me. What you're hearing on the other end of this video is you're hearing the main outputs. So you're hearing my voice, okay? You're also going to hear anything that I have here in the playback or loopback 1 or loopback 2 and or reverb. So if I turn up the reverb here and then turn it up here in the top right hand corner, you're going to hear some reverb like that. Okay. Now I'm monitoring what is going out the mains. Let me turn that down here by clicking on the little headphone button. So now I'm monitoring in my headphones the main mix that's going out to the world here on YouTube. Okay. If I want to just listen to what does my headphone mix sound like? I would click on that and now my mix changes inside of my headphone. But if I want to hear what you're hearing, I just click on that and now I'm hearing exactly what you're hearing. So I could turn up my fader up and down. I could turn up the reverb if I want to, and I could change that from large to small or to medium, or I could turn it all the way down and turn it off completely, or I can mute it down here. Okay, so this is really cool. This is the power of the Revelator. This is what makes this so much more than just a USB microphone. It's this software being able to, depending on whether you're gaming or podcasting or live streaming or whatever you're doing, having this internal mixer is really, really helpful. So think of this little mixer, playback, loopback 1, 2, as your input sources, and then your output sources are here on the right-hand side. Like I said over here, here's our output fader, okay? And then we can, as I said before, you can see I'm on the main outs. I'm monitoring the main outs right now. If I switch to headphones, and if I want to change the levels here, just like this, now I go back to mains, and you can see that the faders change. So I can create a custom mix depending on how I want to hear things. See that? Pretty interesting, right? Okay, so that is really cool. And we'll get into that into other future videos. Now, if we want to go to the top here, again, we have our preset selector switcher. We could save our own custom presets. Now we have the fat channel next to that. Now the fat channel really was came about for the Studio Live, PreSonus Studio Live Series 3 mixers. They created a fat channel which has a high pass filter, gate, compressor, EQ limiter, and some voice effects. And they took that technology and they put it into the Revelator. It's also part of Studio One. So now that you have Studio One artists, you also have the fat channel. Now they've already kind of right out of the gate here just created some basic settings based on the preset that you pick. So if you just want to take it out of the box and plug and play, you can do that. And you can see as here's my fat channel, here's my settings here. If I go to my female voice, you'll see the gate was turned off. You'll see the compressor is more moderate now, and some of the parameters have changed, okay? Now, if we want to just pick a preset and we can just easily say, okay, I'm on male broadcast. If I want to turn off my gate, I could turn it off by doing that. If I want to change my high pass filter and want more lows in my voice, I can do that, or I can thin up my voice a little. If I want some compression, this has a low amount of compression. I can go to moderate, high, DS, so on and so forth. It changes everything under the hood. Same thing with EQ. Pick a mid boost, and now you can hear that my voice gets kind of nasally. Go back to vocal, and you could just do it that way. Quick and easy, simple adjustments. You don't have to know anything about how to use an EQ, how to use a compressor, and all that stuff. You can get your voice sounding great, no problem at all. But let's say you want to go in and you want to tweak things because you're an engineer like me and you want it to sound just the way you want. No problem. You can click on these little 3 dots next to the fat channel, and that opens up now the fat channel. And you can see we have our high pass filter, our gate, our compressor along the top, EQ and limiter. And we can click on each one of these. Here's our high pass filter. So we can adjust it right here if we want to. We can do whatever we want here. Pardon me. We can adjust our gate. If we wanted to turn the gate off, we turn it off there and the gate goes away. We have our compressor here. Right now, our compressor is set up on the standard compressor, but they give you 3 types of compressors. They give you a tube compressor, a FET style compressor, which all comes from the fat channel. Now, when you switch that like that, you'll see that everything kind of resets itself. So because I picked a preset, just be aware of that. But you have 3 different types of compressors. You have 3 different types of EQ. Standard, the passive EQ, which is part of the fat channel, the kind of Pultec-esque, and then the Neve or the British-esque EQ as well. And then we have a limiter. We could turn it on and off here. So you could get in here and you can really change and shape your voice the way you want. You can do whatever you want. Find it, fine tune it to your heart's content, and then you can save it as a preset. And then we have some voice effects here as well. Okay? You close the fat channel by doing this. And then if we just want to go back and change our male broadcast, we can do that just like that. I could put our gate back to low, and then there we go. We can change our EQ back, we can change our compressor back, and we can make it very, very basic. Again, we can use more of that in some of the future videos, but just know that's how you do it. It's pretty simple to use. And then lastly, you have the reverb over here that we talked about a few minutes ago. Now at the top right-hand corner, we have this little gear icon. This will let us reset the Revelator application back to its stock settings, or factory settings, I should say. Here's where you pick your polar patterns, okay? You can also, the fat channel on the USB stream outputs could be on and off. You could change the preset mode button, and then you can choose what happens when you hit the mute button on the front of the microphone. Does it mute the microphone, or does it mute the monitoring in your ears? Whatever you'd like to do. And that is a basic overview. So it is very well laid out. It's simple, but you can do a lot of things with it. And like I said, you can, in the next video, we'll come back and I'll show you how you can use this little mini mixer for a very specific use case. And other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So thanks so much for taking a first look at the application, the Revelator, the features of the microphone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, click the links in the description box below, and that'll take you out to the other 2 or 3 videos that I'll do to show you how to set up for live streaming, Skype, so on and so forth. Until the next video, I've been Dave with HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.